think there is a desperation for people with art. They look at art and they find it very hard to just enjoy it. They have to kind of interpret it and understand it. They don't just sort of ask themselves, you know, do I think it's beautiful? I think there should be more of that. This is my studio in Walthamstow, East London, the glamorous, new, up-and-coming regeneration area. Hopefully the tide of regeneration will never reach here, because I need to maintain my authenticity as an artist. I was 23 when I started making pots, and I'm 51 now. Within the art world, it's my gimmick. You know, it's not, I mean, I use that term pejoratively, but I mean, it's like, as an artist, you know, you buy whatever you want to or not in the art world, you have a brand. You know, so I'm a tranny potter, and that's not a bad, you know, people remember it. Where I start? Well, where I start is, I mean, like, you know, I build a pot. I mean, if I'm making a pot, pots are only about half of my work now, probably less than half, but this is what I mainly do in this studio. So I start with making a form. That's the raw clay form. That's just how I've built it. So that's, I've got to shave that down. When I've smoothed it into a nice, almost looking like it's been made by a potter sort of shape, I will coat it in liquid slip, which is like, just like that. It's just like coloured clay. And I paint that on, and then I will get a little knife like this, and I will carve lines in it or something, or inlay it, or I might put little moulds on. You know, there's a little mould, like sprig mould. Put a little mould on, so I make little medallions on things, make that. This one is a pot which I just made up as I went along, because quite often I plan them very much. So I thought it'd be funny to make a pot where I started it literally with having no idea what I was going to do on it, and then at the moment I was just starting to draw on it. So mainly it's stuff that just came off the radio while I was working, just kind of. So I quite like the idea that some sort of art historian in the future could probably work out from kind of listening to, you know, to the archives of the BBC which week I made it on, as a kind of museum object. This is not fired yet. This is just being scraped. So I'm scraped. So down the bottom here, you can see it's not been scraped. So this is where I've drawn into the clay and then filled in the grooves with a different colour, and then I'll scrape it back so that really it's almost like a sort of marquetry or something really in the surface. This one is about well, it's meant to explain what the whole of my next exhibition is about. But it won't, of course, you know, because I'm a poetic artist. I'm not I'm not, hopefully not just illustrating my ideas. And that clicking in the background you can hear is my kiln. This up here is my kiln goddess, who is really inefficient as a talisman, because quite often things go wrong in the kiln and I get really upset because that means weeks of work have gone down the pan. So making pottery, I think that's the reason you don't see many artist potters. It's not because it's a naff material, but because it's really shit when it goes wrong. Opening the kiln is, I always think of it as an exercise in controlled disappointment. See, you have to imagine how it's going to look. And in my imagination, it's always absolutely bloody gorgeous, even better than the best pot I've ever made. But of course, when I open the kiln, it'll be like the 7th best pot I've ever made, or the 12th best pot I've ever made. And that is kind of disappointing, you know, but I'll come round to it. And I might even like it a lot after a few years. But usually it's like, I open the kiln and I'll go, that will do. It's a war of attrition. That's what it is. It's a war of attrition. You know, I still believe that if you're going to get on in the art world, you've just got to put the hours in. And the idea that it's just a sort of Zen masterstroke, you know, of marketing or something is, I I don't know, it works for some people, but most of the time I think most artists get on because they put in the hours. And are nice to work with, of course.